Yes, people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I offer whatever such a time zone. It's another Blue Morning show. And again, most importantly, it is Blue Morning. And I appreciate you all. Talk CFC, brother, welcome. And let me know if you want to join the conversation on the panel. Up to you. Now, again, first of all, it's important. I hope you all have your coffees. If it is morning, wherever you are, that's the first thing I do Blue Morning Show. It is the tradition here. Yeah, so that I can wake up. It is 3:03 a.m. here in Las Vegas. And big up to Just Viola. Nice to see you all in the chat participating. So today we have a few things to cover. Very, very important things given the club's the situation at the club at the moment. Let me open my notes here. All right. So the first thing we have to cover is it's been reported that there are no shortage of buyers, people, organizations willing to buy Chelsea Football Club from Roman Abramovich. But the question is, who is the right guy? We'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about Roman seeking assurance, Roman making sure that whoever buys the club will guarantee him the success of the club, will guarantee him that he puts the success of the club first and not profit first. And also, we'll talk about the front runner. And also, that's in terms of the buyers, those that have made contact with them as rumored, who's a front runner. And also, we'll talk about Thomas Tuchel comment that he will stay at Chelsea, that Chelsea is perfect for him. Roman leaving is not an issue. First of all, good morning to everyone in the chat. I hope that you're all doing well. I appreciate you all finding time to join the conversation. So it's been reported that there are around 300 interests. Roman got about 300 that it's made contact, about 300 potential buyers made contact with Roman Abramovich. That is those that want to buy Chelsea Football Club, and that is interesting to see, to hear, so to speak. Big up to you, Deals CFC. Nice to see you back here on Blue Morning. I hope you enjoy the show. So about 300 people, that's 300 interests of potential buyers. That shows there are no shortage of buyers for Chelsea Football Club, and that is a good thing to see, which means we can all take our time and find, a buyer that will take good care of the job, take good care of the club, so to speak. And I like it that Roman in a statement said that the sale of the club will not be expedited. It will not be in a rush. He will take his time and find that is the best person to take good care of Chelsea Football Club, and that is good to hear. So that at least will array our fears. We should take heart with that comment. Redbird Private Equity Company have declined to comment on reports they are interested in making a bid for Chelsea. Matlaw, who is the Redbird Private Equity Company? That company I haven't heard of before, but hopefully it's a good thing. But I don't want anything group where the decision making comes down to having a meeting, a vote, or something like that. Then decision making will not be quick, and that it's not going to be helpful for the club. So if it comes down to a single to an individual, that person can quickly decide on what he or she wants to do and help us, take care of situations at the club. And this is okay. Today could end good and bad for Chelsea men and ladies, especially good and good, bad and bad. Oh, that sounds like read it to me, Tyrone. But anyway, that's fine. Let me keep reading your comment to see if the scheduled guest today will join us. And it says, and again, I have to recognize the presence of the Queen herself, Street Bear, in the house, and the other Queen, Just Viola in the house. Talk CFC, always good to see you all. And finally, again, I see Tommy, the CFC fan, back here. Big up Coachila. I hope Chelsea will be in set fans. Most definitely. I think if you read and understand Roman's statements, that's for him to have given up, decided to sell the club in the first place because he wants to distance himself from the club so that it will not affect sponsorship. It was that aspect. If you read that statement, was clearly stated in the statement. He wants to distance himself from the club so that it will not be, the club won't start having a sponsorship issues. And he's always have had the best interest of the club at heart. So that is clear in his statement. I don't think he'd be willing to sell the club to anybody that will not prioritize the club's success. I think that is Roman for you. He is Chelsea through and through. Now, Trippier says Chelsea ladies continue cup final. That's important to learn. I am good. Okay, this is just they're exchanging pleasantries. Big up Tommy, the CFC fan, long time. Still pleasantries here. Turkish guy could be good. Yes, the reason I think Turkish guy could be good, so Jaraki, who was first concerned that the Turkish guy wanted to buy the club, his name I think is pronounced Muhsin Bayrak. I hope I got that correctly. My apologies if I butchered it. So Jaraki wasn't sure if he wanted the Turkish guy to be the one to buy Chelsea Football Club, but later learned that he's a friend with Roman Abramovich. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why Stav is here. I've sent him the link to the panel. I hope he joins. So the Turkish guy I'm hearing is a friend with Roman Abramovich, and there are rumors also that Roman Abramovich has traveled to Turkey to negotiate the sale of Chelsea to the guy. And the rumors also are the guy already has his first signing in mind. And if that's the case, that's what you want to see, which means he really wants to buy Chelsea Football Club, not primarily for profit, but to see the club do well. And let me read this comment from DOCFC. Tuchel has handled the situation so well. Tuchel will show this new ownership. Chelsea is a winning team. Believing Roman will sell to the right person. That's sure. Like I've talked about before when the show started today, is that Roman will not sell just to any buyer. And remember, in his statement, he mentioned that the club will not be sold in a rush, first of all. And secondly, every time he's made a statement regarding the club, from the time he bought the club and the heartbreaking statement he made a few days ago, he's always made it clear that his priority is the success of the club. He wants to see the club succeed. Every decision he makes is always to see the club succeed. First of all, distancing himself from the club by handing the club stewardship to the charity body that's attached to the club. And then secondly, deciding to sell the club so that the political, you could call it witch hunt, will subside or even go away entirely. So he's always, put the club first. He's worth 11 billion, but could be more. Yeah, that's a good point there. The guy is rich, which means he's capable of, taking care of the club. And rumors are, again, I'm going to repeat this, that he's friends with Roman Abramovich, and he's also, he's also, should I say, recognized. You could phrase it like that. His first signing, should he end up buying the club. And I saw a statement online also where he says something like, in a few days, the Turkish flag will be flying in England, which means for him, it's about pride. It's about, gaining a global, that is popularity, because I knew nothing about the guy. And I'm sure that some of you guys or everyone in the chat can as well say they knew nothing about the guy until the talks that he wants to buy Chelsea Football Club. So yeah, the most important thing is, looks like the guy is into sports. I'm not sure if he was a Chelsea fan, but when you spend that much money to buy a club, you become that club's fan by default. So that's common sense. I am also for the Turkey guy. Yeah, given the choices we have at hand right now, I think it's just clear that what's his name again? Muhsin Bayrak is the best option for us. Given the fact that it's been rumored he's friends with Roman Abramovich, and he's also identified his first signing. I think I'm going to repeat this like 100 times as this show progresses. So I think he would be a good choice for us. And I wish Soderaki had time because he was the one that told me so much about the guy. This is pleasantries. Hope he has a buyback clause. That's a funny one. Yeah, possibly. You never know. He's a smart man, and given how much he loved Chelsea, there's a chance he'd be, there's a chance Roman will be, will insert a buyback clause because he wants someday to come back and buy Chelsea back. But I doubt that, and here's why I doubt why he'd be willing to someday come back and buy Chelsea again. Is this? I think yes, he loves Chelsea, and yes, he's distancing himself away from Chelsea Football Club because he doesn't want the political witch hunt. That's what I call it. That's being, target. He doesn't want the fact that the club is being targeted. I think he also wouldn't want that every 4 years or every 3 years, whenever something comes up that Russia is involved, then you hear Roman's name in the media talking about how he has ties to Russia, how he has ties to Vladimir Putin. So I think more importantly, also, he'd be stepping away from all those troubles because he's a human being after all. Those things will be getting to him, and it's not good. I think he's at the age of in his life where he needs to just relax and enjoy the fruits of his labor and how much money he has. So it's not just about making sure that Chelsea is in good hands. I think it's mentioned 11 billion. Is it pounds or dollars? Which one is it? I'm not sure. I am looking for that too. Yeah, fair enough. 11 billion would be a good deal. He's not going to give you the whole 11 billion. The most he can give you is 3 billion. That is if he pays up to that. And what makes the sale of Chelsea Football Club so attractive is that Roman has decided not to call in the loan. If he calls in the loan, then if you're buying the club, technically you're buying the loan and the club. So that becomes around $6 billion plus. So, but now he's decided clearly, he stated clearly that he's not asking for the loan to be repaid. He just wants to sell the club and make sure the club is in good hands. So that's a good thing. That's probably why we have so many suitors seeking, let me phrase it this way, allow me, the hands of Chelsea fans in marriage. What I believe we're all fearing, all Chelsea fans are fearing whether it's going to be a good marriage or not, given the fact that we're not sure who will buy Chelsea Football Club. He's a builder, so a new stadium, yeah, possibly. I think any new owner will most definitely prioritize, the building a new stadium. Roman was a bit, he has that connection with the club. He just doesn't want to fall out with the Chelsea pitch owners. He just wanted to be in good terms with them, negotiate with them, still build it in that location. Had it not been for the Chelsea pitch owners, I think by now we'd have one of the best stadiums in the world, in the UK, if not the world. So, but that's a difficult one. I think the buyers will be aware of the issue of negotiating with the Chelsea pitch owners, which hasn't been easy, which you could argue it's one of the reasons why Chelsea has not been able to build a stadium. But that's by the way. He had a Chelsea. Wow. Thank you. That's a very good information. If he had a Chelsea season ticket, then he must be Chelsea through and through, just like Roman Abramovich. So the more we get to learn about this guy, the more we get to see that possibly he's a good choice. He's the better of the choices we have right now. I think if you look at the Swiss guy, I think there are some concerns in the Chelsea fan base things they're saying he said about Roman Abramovich and something like that, and him looking to buy the club with other interested parties, which makes it even difficult to run a club if you have a group buy a club like that. Decision making becomes very difficult, and probably most definitely when a group buys a club, they will be profit focused. So I am happy that an individual, Muhsin is the front runner, Muhsin, or the Turkish guy, like you guys phrased it. But yeah, I think that's a good thing to know. So Quinn, thank you very much for providing that information. Yeah, new stadium will go a long way for us because it will help us, it will help us cement our authority because no matter how the rival fans hate us, one thing they cannot do is take away the fact that in the past decade, we are the most, decorated club in the UK. We won the most trophies, and we won the club of the decade in the UK. And also, I think we won the club that this past year. Chelsea was named the best club in the world, and we also proved that by winning the Club World Cup. So nobody can take away that for us. And I believe Chelsea will continue to be successful. And I think the jealousy of the opposition fan base will not hurt the club in any way. The foundation has been laid by Roman Abramovich, and that will not change. And please, 1 second while I take a sip of the coffee. If you can listen, if you're listening to me, you'll see I still sound a bit sleepy. Yes, and Turkey is a footballing nation. Great point right there. A big footballing nation. I remember Hakan Suka. That's one of the guys that made me start following Turkish football. I think Suka was a Turkish footballer. Mesut Ozil and some, there and some German. I think some German footballers, some players that represent the German national team, I think, are Turkish, and they have very fine footballers. Yeah, good point there. Do you think Roman Abramovich was sold to the candidate because we know Roman Abramovich does business in quiet? It's a possibility, and the truth is, there's been so much talk about it that at this point, there are some truth to it. We don't know everything, and the fact remains, once things like this, when you read about things like this in the media, chances are everything you see, just think about it like this: everything you hear isn't 100% truth, will not be 100% truthful, but there are some truths to it. That's just the truth, because he himself made a statement that yes, he's looking to buy Chelsea, and that yes, hopefully you'd see the club's the Turkish flag in England very soon. So again, that statement there from the guy shows he's seeking that is to promote his country, and also he's seeking global influence, because the truth be told, none of us knew nothing about him until the talks that he wants to buy Chelsea Football Club. Yes, the passion is something that's important to all of us. But then again, I must say something that I said here when we had a live stream. I think it's titled Good Players Doesn't Have to Be Expensive. And during that live stream, I talked about something like we Chelsea fans, how spoiled we are, because Roman always, just writes the check, help find a way to inject money into the club. One thing we must recognize right this now is this: because of the restructure of the FFP, it is even more difficult now for clubs or club owners to inject money into clubs. There are some amount of money that when you spend that much money, you pay what is called a luxury tax, which is a lot of money. So clubs will be careful on how much they spend on players. The truth, and again, you have to look at it like this: if it is that easy, after the Newcastle takeover, they'd spend a lot of money buying players, but they probably are well educated about that's what's in the new FFP rules and what happens when about the luxury tax. So they're probably careful, and they spend wisely. So again, we must recognize that how much the net worth of the new owner doesn't really matter. The most important thing we can bear at the back of our mind, with regards to the net worth of the new owners or new owner is, if they are rich, the richer they are, the less likely it is that their primary focus will be profit. So, but it's not about spending in terms of buying players and paying how much, paying whatever money or other clubs ask us for a player signature. So no, that doesn't the owners or the new owners net worth doesn't really matter there. Tai says, I like the Turkish guy. Roman said the selling process will not be quick. Yes, that's important for us. I think we've all been afraid we're probably going to end up being the new Arsenal by the time the club is sold. But we're learning. If I paid attention to his statement, and one of the things I picked up was that some of the things I picked up from Roman's statement is that he's kind-hearted. To him, it was never been about profit, and it's still not about profit. His primary focus has always been to see the club succeed. And even after the persecution he's faced from the British government and all the nonsense that's been said about him in the media, his primary focus is still to see the club succeed, even till the end. Even as he's looking to sell the club, he still wants the club succeed. So I never feared who the buyer will be. If you watch the previous shows regarding Roman selling the club, you'd see that I've always said he will be looking to sell the club to somebody who will take good care of the club. Roman was seen in Turkey. Yeah, if that's the case, then the whole thing is aligning. The fact that the guy has said he wants to sell the club, the fact that it's in the media that the guy wants to buy the club, and the fact that Roman is seen in Turkey, I think the whole thing is aligning. So the Turkey guy, or Muhsin, if you prefer, is looking like the front runner, and I'd like to see that happen, given that other options, the Swiss guy is 80 years plus. So yeah, we want the Turkish guy. Do you know who the Turkish guy wants to buy first? Not sure. He just said he's identified his first signing should he succeed in buying the club. So the player in question is I do not know. For Tina match the end of beats, yeah, I think because he'll have a lot in his hands. So then it takes time to pick out who's the most fitting, if I'm allowed to put it that way. Yeah, okay. Romana and his Turkish guy can team up in the future, possibly. But like I said before, Roman isn't just selling the club because of the pressure from the British government or because of the nonsense in the media. He's a human being. He wouldn't want a situation every 4 years, whenever there's an issue or a global issue that Russia is involved, then you start hearing Roman's voice from a negative perspective. So I think as a human being, he would also want to, walk away from all those nonsense. Maybe Soyuncu, because he's Turkish, possibly. Yeah, possibly. And if the guy is a season ticket holder, like the Queen of Serbia has mentioned, maybe he has the link to get him. That's a possibility. So let me see all the interesting. Okay, so you could know some people here doesn't want him. Ideal isn't the deal, 2 different words. Yep, good point there. Let me see this. CB, CDM, and a striker or a winger, possibly. I'm not sure which one it is. This question here says that you have money to spend in the summer anyway, because only paid for big money for just one player last season. Here's the thing. I think we've talked about this in the last show. It depends on who the new owner is. If eventually the club is sold, and we get an owner that's profit focused, the owner's first priority will be for the club to break even first, because we had a loss of £140 million plus this past year. So if we get an owner who's profit focused, he will not be looking to spend that much money in the market. The owner's primary focus will be, okay, we have to break even before we can spend that much money. We have to break even before we can actually increase player salaries that much, and they'll be looking to instead integrate academy products and let Rudiger, let other players who are out of contract to leave on a free because they don't want to spend money because they're business savvy and they want profit first. So there's a risk to getting a new owner, and hopefully it's a Turkish guy. Yeah. So says with the new owners, the rushes like Roman has ruthless. Yeah, it depends on the owner. If the owner isn't profit focused, if the owner's primary concern is the success of the club, if a manager starts doesn't look like, if it starts looking like the manager has lost the dressing room, if it starts to look that the manager has run out of ideas, if it starts to look like the manager has been found out and cannot change his approach to games and cannot start winning games, then yeah, a ruthless owner should let them go if they love football, if their primary focus is on profits. Yeah. So Lee says the Turkish billionaire will sign and be the new owner by Monday next week. Roman flew to Turkey on Thursday night. Wow. Who is this guy that's provided us with this information? Lee, this is great news, and I hope everybody in the chat can see this. Let us know what you think. It's looking more and more likely that Muhsin will be the guy to buy Chelsea Football Club. And I'm not in any way against that, given the fact that the guy is friends with Roman Abramovich. Again, this is me speculating, given what I've read in the media. That is good news, and given that he is a season ticket, a Chelsea season ticket holder, and given what he said about Chelsea Football Club, I think the guy is passionate about buying Chelsea and helping Chelsea succeed. And please, whatever you're watching from, whether you're watching from Twitter, if you haven't, please come join us here and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And more importantly, don't forget to click on the bell notification button so that you will be notified whenever we go live. And I'm hoping that we will reach 1,000 subscribers as soon. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. That's a very good information that you've provided us with. It says it's possible he will be cool the first season as the new owner. Possibly. I think he will not have much of an issue. My only concern is the rumors that Marina Granovskaia will be leaving the club after it is sold. To me, that's a problem. I think I'd prefer Marina to stay for a while to help the new owners get acquainted with the structure of the club and how things are done at the club. So that will make the whole thing easier. I think Roman will convince Marina Granovskaia to stay at the club for a while to help the new owners get acquainted with the structure of the club and to help to ensure that the transition period from Roman to the new owner is seamless. I don't think Roman will risk anything falling apart the moment the club is sold. And yeah, coming to your question, I don't think the new owners will have too much of a problem or too much of an issue to deal with because there's a good structure in place. Even though Roman was, every decision that the club made in the past year, the final decision all came down to Roman. The fact is, I think there's a good structure in place, and Chelsea has a very, very good structure. One of the best in the Premier League, actually, if you ask me, and that's why the club has been able to produce us some of the best talents. The academy has been able to produce some of the best talent the whole world, and you can look around. There's hardly a club that is a league in the world where you look and you will not see a Chelsea academy product in that place. So I don't think the new owners will have so much issues to deal with, given that the club has a good structure in place. So this one here says we'll get a CB that can play the left or right. Yeah, that's important because we will be losing a lot of players in that position. There's possibility that Cesar Spilicueta himself will leave. That's a possibility. Anders Christensen, I'm hearing, has already, he's had a medical at Barcelona already. So he's right. He's already out of the club, if you ask me. And Antonio Rudiger, we're not sure what's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, we really do need a CB. And from my friend here, Leicester Till I Die, Chris, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Are you worried about the sell? I am so worried about the sell that I wouldn't say I embarrassed myself. I cried like a baby on this show reading his statement. I am really worried, but I think I'm a bit calm right now, given the fact that if you read and not be, that's when emotions aren't high. If you take your time to read his statement, you'd see that he will never sell the club to anybody that will, not take care of the club, or anybody that's just whoever any buyer whose primary focus will be profits. And I think what I read about him seeking owners that will guarantee him that they will prioritize the club's success, that they will make sure that Chelsea remains one of the biggest clubs in Europe. That gave me hope. So I'm a bit calm, much calmer than I've been in the previous days. So Chris, thank you so much for that comment there. I appreciate it. The Turkish guy is close friends with Roman. Also, he has 11.4 billion. I don't know if it is dollars or pounds, whichever it is big money. We are in good hands with the Turkish guys. Yes, Chris, with the Turkish guys, the Turkish guy, Roman, most definitely, if he ends up buying it from Roman, then we are in good hands. And I think I want that to happen. They are always saying ways out. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants the Swiss guy to buy him. And after all, he doesn't want to buy it alone. He wants to buy the club as a group, what is called a consortium. And I don't want to see that happen because it is dangerous, because decision making won't be easy. And you can be rest assured, if a group buys Chelsea Football Club, their primary focus will be profit. So in 2 minutes, I will put the link in the chat so that anybody that wants to join will join. Wiz is trash. Again, that's your opinion. I don't know him that much. They will always hate Chelsea. Yes, exactly. Was so hated. And the fact is, if nobody talks about you, then you're nobody. And if you're hated that much, that's probably because you're doing something right. I think we're hated so much in the Premier League because we've been one of the most successful clubs since Roman bought the club in 2003. I think we've won the most trophies, and we've broken. Before Chelsea, I think it was just a two-horse race. It was just Arsenal and Manchester United until Chelsea bought the club. Liverpool was doing well then, but they did better in Europe than they did domestically until Chelsea came. Everything changed, and they did not like that. So that's why they hit us that much. But they can't take anything away from us. We will continue to be successful. And thank you for Roman Abramovich for ensuring that. We need to keep the winning mentality. That will never go away. The Turkish guy is taking over Chelsea. He has, I like to see that happen. When you think we get a new stadium, that will happen. I think the new owner will prioritize that. And if you ask me, we haven't, invested in building a stadium. We've spent millions, or I don't know how much it cost the owner to design the new stadium. But the fact is, the issues it was difficult negotiating with the Chelsea pitch owners. It was also difficult, I think, to find solution with those that own property and around surrounding Stamford Bridge or something like that. And also, Roman must have foreseen the possibility that he may be sanctioned. That he may be sanctioned in the future. So why spend that much money building a stadium? So he already started having issues with the British government banning him from working in the UK. So all those things are factors that probably, combined led to Roman decided not to build the stadium. Share and subscribe. Yes, please, guys, share the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also like the video. That will help the channel grow. The sale of Chelsea will be made in Monday afternoon. I hope to see that happening. Armando Broja has been speaking about his future amid interest from Southampton and Arsenal. He admitted his experience at St. Mary's has been amazing. And if you speak with him in private, I can assure you he understands that Chelsea is a bigger club and would want to come back to Chelsea. And believe me, I can tell you this, Armando Broja has a chance to make it at Chelsea. That's because Thomas Tuchel likes him. That's a fact. I think he will be looking to come back and prove himself at Chelsea. So hope within a few years, once that mighty stadium, I think that will happen sooner than later, because it's important. That's the only thing that Chelsea is lacking at the moment, is a stadium with a bigger capacity, a stadium that is world-class. Don't get me wrong, Stamford Bridge as it is historic, and that makes a huge difference. That's why probably so much people want it to remain. That's it, Chelsea to keep it, but I think we need to expand the capacity of the stadium to grow. I am 100% guaranteed that the new owner is the Turkish guy, and it will be announced on Wednesday. I'd like to see that happen as soon as possible so that we all can move ahead. So right now, I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to join me, you can join me. And I enjoy, if you let me go, I enjoy answering your questions, because Blue Morning is designed to be an interactive Chelsea news. But if anybody can come and join me, that will be fine. So then we can have other perspectives. I'd like the Bitcoin and crypto part, because his value could go up and down at any moment, but 11 billion is good. I don't like here's the thing, no matter what happens, this is not a show about Bitcoin or crypto. The fact remains, digital currency will eventually dominate, and hard currency, the one like the notes you exchange, I think will be phased out gradually sometime in the future, maybe not right now. Digital currency is here to stay. The Turkish dude just bought the Secretary of State America's old house. So the guy is business savvy. So he knows what he's doing. The Turkish billionaire is different. Yes, we've read that before. What did the Queen say here? So it cannot be that evil. Yeah. It says, doesn't mean the Turkish guy is the new owner. He has to discuss with the prospective candidate. It's like with an agent going to different countries with his player to hear the club's proposal. If Roman is friends with the Turkish guy, as rumored, be rest assured that he will eventually become Chelsea owner, and I'd like to see that happen. We are getting Rice in the summer. Lee, I love you, but Rice isn't my first choice, because Rice isn't what we're missing in our team. Rice will, to me, I think he's better suited for Manchester United at this point. Why am I saying that? Because that's where they have space for him. At Chelsea, given that Ampadu might come back, and given that the club will be looking to be cautious with, that is in terms of how they spend money, Ampadu could possibly come back. Conor Gallagher most definitely will come back. So I don't think there's really space there for Rice, and N'Golo Kante stays. I think the older he's, just all we need Kante is just to stay fit. I think he gets better as he ages, and the only thing is that he won't be running as much. So to me, I don't think it makes sense for us to go for Rice at what price? 80 million pounds plus. I don't think Chelsea will be spending that much on a single player in a transfer window where they will be spending a lot of money to buy defensive targets. So I think no, Chelsea will not be paying that much money for Rice. I don't think so. If the price is around 45 to 50 million pounds, then yeah, I think Chelsea will go for him. But at 80 million, anything north of, even anything north of 70 million pounds, I don't think Chelsea will do business with West Ham. Yes, I agree, but one owner rather than a group. Yes, I prefer one owner rather than a group. With a group, we have a problem at hand. 12 watching, 8 likes. Yeah, that is not fair. Yes, remind them that. And then we have 16 watching now, so we should have at least 15 likes, people. Smash that like button. And more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because that helps the channel grow and also help Google to push the stream to much more people. I hope he still keeps going for the players he wanted last season, like Rice, Kunde, Chomeni. I don't think Chelsea really wanted to sign a Rice. That's the truth. I think that is just our opinion. Ty, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot hear you. Looks like you're on mute, buddy.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Okay, while I wait for Ty to fix his audio, I'm going to keep going through the comments in the chat. I've been a Chelsea fan since 2 years old. I've been a supporter for 43 years. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing, and that's kind of our followers. We love every follower, but you are a veteran Chelsea supporter, and that I love to see that. So we value your opinion a lot. Signing only Rice for the midfield isn't a good thing. It's not a good idea, and I don't think Chelsea will pay that much money for Rice. Ty, let me know if you fixed your audio so we can get a different
Can you
opinion
hear me?
perspective on the topic.
Can you hear me?
I still cannot hear you. I still cannot hear you, Ty. Maybe you have audio issues. 22 supporting. That's a long time too. So the Queen herself is also a veteran Chelsea supporter. That is not easy. So kudos to you guys. It's always nice to see that. But yes, Ty, say something. Let me know if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I still cannot hear you, Ty. Something must be wrong with your audio. Okay, can you say something now? Okay, let me know when you fix it. Now, I had trials at Chelsea. Wow, you're really Chelsea through and through, and that is good to see. So and also you understand football very well. I got injured. Sorry to hear that. And hopefully, I believe you'll probably be looking to have one of your kids, if you have kids, to play for Chelsea Football Club. It always happens a lot. Yes, it does. Lee says Kunde Rice will be coming in the summer. We are selling Jorginho, Kante, Barkley, Alonso. And here's the thing: the truth is, it will not be easy to sell these guys because they are all on high wages. But Jorginho, Jorginho is in demand. I think Juventus wants him. Juventus always play with a regista, which is traditionally what Jorginho does for the Italian national team. And I think what's his name? The Juventus coach also likes to play with a regista. So if they get the opportunity to sign Jorginho, and I think he will come, Jorginho will leave on a cheap, because if Chelsea tries to keep him beyond beyond the end of the season, then he'll probably run down his contract and leave on a free. Ty, have you fixed your audio?
Can you hear me?
I still cannot hear you, unfortunately, and I'm not sure why. For Kunde, yes, there's a possibility. For Rice, I have my argument. The price is an issue, especially why we've had such a loss in this past year. Didn't we say he wants the Turkish flag? Yeah, he said that, so that shows passion too. We can be sponsored by Turkish Airlines. Very possible. Lots of business. Oh, that's a weird situation, Ty. I'm not sure why I can't not hear you. If people are saying that they can hear you, then I think I'm going to use an approach here where I will turn on, but I will be hearing you 10 seconds late. That's an issue. So I'm not sure why your audio isn't coming through here, Ty. But I'm going to look at it in a bit. So it says we are looking at. I don't really like Chiesa, but I think hopefully we'll buy him. How do you see Chelsea's future? Chelsea's future is, yeah, I think I'm not really concerned. And Aman Kumal Patel, Aman, let me just call you Aman. If you paid attention to Roman's statement, you'd see that everything he's done from the time he bought Chelsea Football Club till the day he decided he'd be selling Chelsea Football Club. He's always prioritized Chelsea's success. So I don't think he'd be selling Chelsea to anybody that will not take good care of the club. And if you're reading what's in the media, also he's seeking a buyer who will make sure that Chelsea remains a force to be reckoned with, a buyer who will help Chelsea Football Club achieve even more success. So I'm not really concerned. I will see if I can join soon. I have to do something. Fine, whenever you get a chance. Liverpool are in trouble. The owners was to sell Mane and Salah. I think Salah. I think he's asking what I don't think a salary increase. I don't think that Liverpool would be willing to pay. So that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money to pay. So Ty, if you for people in the chat, let me know if you can hear Ty. If you can hear Ty, then I'll just ask him a question and let him talk. Even if I don't hear him, that's fine. Let me know if you can hear Ty. Now, yeah, I think Liverpool. I think they've made some signing. They have Minamino. How do you pronounce that guy's name? And then the new guy that they signed, Portuguese league. What's his name? Was it Benfica? He's good. I think they have players in place. Should Salah and Mane decide to leave, I think Liverpool will still be fine. I think they're loaded. They're not in trouble. And the new guy he's even more physical than Salah and Mane. He looked threatening against us. He had a brilliant game against us, actually. And I think Liverpool won't be in trouble even if they lose those two guys. I think
they don't have the depth.
Plans made some signings because they know how good those two guys were, Mane and Salah. They know how good those guys have been for them. So even if they sell them today, I think they will be fine. It might take a little bit before they to be up and running because these players, I think they will be fine. My favorite game of all times was 6-0 Arsenal on Wenger's 100 game. Yes, I remember that game too. Let me see if I have anything interesting here. Look at Liverpool team. They have 8 players, 29 or 30 and over. So they need to make some signing because the average age is huge. So or else it becomes an issue. Club might be leaving in 2023. It's a possibility, but I think he's having some fun there.
That is not true.
If he wants to go
leaving.
and coach
He
the
had an interview
German
and he said
national
that
team, and that is if.
That is not true.
But it's difficult because what's his name, the former Bayern Munich coach, he is really doing well as the German national team coach. So I don't think that the Germans will be looking to change a manager at this point. I think club, if he leaves, probably will go manage another club. Hopefully, yeah. Broja is coming back. Yes, most definitely.
Isn't going anywhere.
We like him. Who has done
that he's not leaving.
Salah. So please let me know if you can hear Ty talk, so I can just ask him a question and let him come in quickly. Okay, from 22 to 25. Yeah, we'll be looking at that quickly. The World Cup final 22 will be between Brazil and Spain in the final. I will make sure I remind you of this, Lee, if it happens. Okay. Chichi, Dalo, our channel is growing. Yes, we are growing, and thank you to all the queens in the house. You guys have done great. Street Beer, the queen of all streams, and you've done so much. Street Beer have done so much for Chelsea perspective. Chichi is always available, and I will never forget Just Viola. She's been great. She's the quality manager of Chelsea perspective and always helping all the time, making sure things are going well. She checks the schedules, check if there's any misspelling in the description section or any issues with all that. So I appreciate Street Beer. I appreciate Chichi Eze, Chichi Dalo, and I appreciate Just Viola. She's been great. Kanye is getting sold to PSG. Not sure I understand that statement. Please let me know what you mean. We always say Ronaldo and Messi is the best, but forget Pele, and none of them has come close to achieving what Pele has achieved. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think Pele still topples them in so many ways. Let's just move on from Rice. Yeah, we should. It will be an expensive buy if we ever buy him. The Simpsons cartoon has predicted 100 things that has come true, including the war now of Russia. Okay, yeah, and unfortunately we have to talk about it because it's affecting us. It just sounds like he's woken up. Yep. Okay. And oh my, why did it take me so much time to see that drug Baba came through? Drug Baba, always good to see you, brother. How are you doing? I appreciate I appreciate you stopping by. And the link is in the chat in case you have time. If not, I understand. And I am looking forward to making an appearance on your channel. I'm just waiting for the video that I showed yesterday, to process completely, and I will add your complete information in the description section so that people can go check your channel. I hope you're doing well, my brother. Nice to see you. PSG has offered up to 74 million for Kante right now at his age. If they do, I think Chelsea will take it in a heartbeat. The Simpsons narrative. Okay, they said an alien invasion too. Possibly that could happen. And there have been deadline for Roman Abramovich. No, there's no deadline. The fact remains that the British government do not have what is it called? They don't have. I think they need to have something in place to be able to impose the sanctions on him. I don't think they have one in place, and it would take months for them to, do that and be able to sanction him. So that's probably one of the reasons why Roman himself is in a rush. It's on your side, boss. The chat can hear him. Okay, Ty, are you ready now? Let me know what you think about the Turkish guy buying Chelsea.
Yeah, but I think.
Hi, Stav. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Stav?
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
All right.
Oh,
All right. So
greetings.
it's on
Awesome.
Coachilla's side then.
Yeah, I think I can hear you guys now. So it has always been my fault. I did not turn on my earphone, and the light was on. I don't know, and I was blabbering all this time, but that is okay. I hope you guys forgive me. Stav, welcome to the show. I sent you a link, the link like 10 years ago. Maybe you were busy, probably watching Ajax play as usual, but that is okay. Oh, okay. All right. Get your rest, man, because we have another show today also. So, Ty, starting with you, what do you think about the Turkish guy being the front runner to buy Chelsea?
I was talking, but then you cut in and you didn't hear me, and then Stav came in and you stopped me. But anyways, I was saying that with the Turkish guy, it looks good, it sounds good, but I still feel like something can always change in a matter of minutes. Let's not forget that we were hearing that a bid was imminent from Waze and Todom, whatever his name is, and he was a favorite. And then what changed was that they heard that it wasn't a case where he wants to come to the club and make them successful. It's because he sees it as a way to get Roman out. So they moved from being the favorite, or probably the ones that looked like they were going to be the ones, to becoming the one that nobody wants now. Now we were also hearing about Jim Radcliffe, but he obviously disclosed that he is not interested, so he changed. No, it's this guy. It sounds good, and I would like if he came in. And there was also this other guy whose name is Lottie Monsieur, who is a Chelsea fan, I think, and he's a season ticket holder as well. And he was another one that was looked at as a favorite, but nothing really has been said about him. I know it's this guy. I would love it, but at the same time, I won't get my hopes up and say, yes, we're getting the Turkish guy, I know that they did say things like we're going to be flying the Turkish flag into London and things like that, so that gives you a lot of
Now,
hope.
why do you prefer the Turkish guy?
Because I mean, considering the factors that you've mentioned, he's a friend. He's rumored to be friends with Roman, meaning that he'll understand what Roman wants, what his intentions were for the club, and with the fact that the report saying that Roman is looking for an owner who will ensure that the club, that's paraphrasing, ensures that the club, will be benefited. Whoever comes in will be working to benefit the club to make them remain in positions in Europe. So obviously there's some factors, and if it's a case where he's being in Turkey and he went there to, speak to Turkish guy because they're quote unquote friends, then that's fantastic. But I'm not going to get my hopes up and say yes, he's going to be the owner. It sounds good. It sounds like it could happen, but things can always change. And somebody could just sweeping, and then everything we were hearing probably was false.
Now, like you mentioned, what stands out for me is the fact that the rumor or that he's friends with Roman Abramovich, and it doesn't look like his priority is profit. He's just seeking to gain a global notoriety, if you ask me, or the global popularity, if you ask me. And it looks that, and Street Beer did mention that. He's a season ticket holder. That makes a huge difference for me. Which means he's a fan of Chelsea through and through. So I think with him, if eventually he's the one that if he buys the club, then we are definitely in good hands. And
that is why I said that. That's why I said prefer, because of the factors that were mentioned. That's what I'm saying. That's why he's a preferred one, because everything sounds good. Everything sounds like he would be the perfect fit. So that's why I'm saying I would prefer him or the other guy who's a Chelsea fan, and his name is Lottie Monsieur.
Yeah, and this Atakan Baba, that sounds Turkish, and he seems excited. And Atakan, welcome to Chelsea Perspective. And if you haven't, please do subscribe and smash that like button also. And it sounds confidence here, saying Chelsea's new owner, Muhsin, congratulations. I hope that is true. So, Stav, coming to you, what do you think? Do you now like the Turkish guy? I remember the first message you sent me, you were really concerned. But I think given everything you've heard, you sound confident right now that he's going to be the new owner, and it looks like you're for the Turkish guy. Up to you, Stav.
I'm for the Turkish guy.
Good to hear. But at first you were not.
No, I haven't said a thing. I haven't said a word. I do have issues with it, but I'm not going to say. At the end of the day, this moment in time, right, it's Chelsea's survival, right? That matters. I don't like Weiss because of what he said about Roman, what's been circulated. So I don't want them.
Did he really say? What did Weiss say about Roman, and what exactly did he say?
He hasn't said anything directly himself, right? But he's been reported to be, although he's Swiss, he's really pro West, and he's not like the type. He doesn't like Switzerland's neutrality all the time, and he wants them to go more towards the West. And the story is that he wants to buy it because he doesn't respect Roman, and he wants to get Roman out of the club, and that's why he wants to buy it. And also, he has no real interest in football anyway. So so I don't want him. I'm not keen on the guy who's the Chelsea season ticket holder has already said he's not interested in buying it, right?
Okay.
But from what I've been reading, up to yesterday, he'd already had 3 bids. So I'd like to know who the third bid's from. Nothing's been said. The story is that he flew to Turkey, and that, like Ty said, that they're friends. But I don't know why anybody's jumping in, because I've not heard anything that's been confirmed. So why someone's congratulating someone before the deal's even been done? You mentioned what I said before, that the legislation isn't even in place, right? And that Roman's advisors or lawyers are saying that it's not going to be rushed. But the EPL have stated that everything could be done within 10 days, that they're willing to do their checks quickly. Boris Johnson said that the reason they haven't took sanctions is that because they want to make sure that when they do take sanctions, they're not going to be hit by a barrage of lawyers turning on the government for Roman. So there's far too many conflicting stories. But I also always have an issue with somebody who's saying that they're going to be flying some flag over London. That makes me wonder what the motives are. So I'm not. I'd like to know who the third one is, but nothing's been said up to.
I think the talk now.
The talks about the Turkish guy. I know.
There was a report there about another one. What was it called? What's it called? I don't remember the name. I think it's what, Red Eye or something. I don't think it's Red Eyes. There's some entity that was mentioned. I don't remember what the name of it is now. As the third one.
It's two. The thing is, right, going on Boris Johnson's, sorry, Ty, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Going on the fact that Boris Johnson's now making public reasons, right, or excuses, I don't know which it is, why they haven't sanctioned him. Right, like I said, they can't sanction him. The things, the conversation in the British Parliament about sanctions and changing the rules isn't till Monday, but Labour are the ones that they're pushing for it. So it depends how willing Johnson is to hold off. But all the talks is that there's not going to be rushed.
Let's just talk about what we're here about to talk about here. That Chelsea is in good hands, and who is Muhsin Bayrak. Because because there's always the possibility to just go down the politics path, and I'll bring it back to you as quickly as possible, Stav, because there's something I wanted to say about Chelsea being in good hands. Should the Turkish guy succeeds in buying the club, but it's looking more likely. And Showtime, I want to address this comment from Showtime that says Roman should not sell. Those sanctions are a bluff. Here's the thing: whether those sanctions are a bluff, Roman is a human being, and Showtime, if you were Roman, would you like your life to be? That is to be every 2-3 years, whenever there's a conflict that Russia is involved, you become a target of the British media, you become a target of the global media, you become a target of the British government. At a time in your life, especially the guy is 50 plus, at the time in your life, you get tired of those things because it can break your heart. And eventually someday the sanctions will work. So, and I think it's a good decision for Roman, and it's a good thing that he's looking for owners that will not be profit focused, that will be prioritize the club's success over profit. Believe me, you wouldn't want that to live your life. You're a rich guy, you have so much money, but you wouldn't want every now and then, whenever there's a conflict and a global conflict that Russia is involved, whether it's global or not, your name comes up, and it gets to him. He's a human being. So I am not at this point. I hoped he stayed before, but I think if it happens that he stays, I would take it. But my point is that he's a human being and would want to move on from all this nonsense. I'm coming back to you, Stav, and what I want to say right now is now there are rumors, probably true. I believe it because his statement clearly shows that he prioritizes the club's success over profit. The statement I've read online reads that Roman is seeking a guarantee from potential buyers, or however you want to phrase it, that they will prioritize the club's success, that they will make sure that Chelsea remains a force to be reckoned with globally, that Chelsea remains competitive, that Chelsea keeps winning trophies and all of that. He doesn't want an owner that will prioritize profit and then cause an issue. What do you think about that? Can you hear me, Stav?
Yeah,
okay,
Tyrone. I turned my mic off because I was coughing.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Well, at the end of the day, we're talking about rich people here. And saying one thing and doing something else is quite the norm. So being told that they are willing to is one thing, and doing it's another. But there's a story doing the rounds that the Turkish guy, he's already got ideas about making a signing, and that's Demirel, a Turkish central defender, right? And this is a problem that I've got with us making signings, the new owner making signings, just because they come from his country, whoever it is, whether we try to sign an American or a Canadian because the owners are American, whether it's...
Yeah, just 1 second. And this comment here, that is why you could still argue that football is a global language. It's a language everybody understands because football is the center of the negotiation. So, yeah, Jews and Muslims can work together. That is, if you're not one of those that's a religious bigot or, something like that, brainwash or something like that, we're all seek higher to, seek protection from a higher being. So that takes faith to actually to do that. So we should all love each other and, not fight all the time. Go ahead, Stav.
That's not my point. My point is I don't want to sign people just for the sake of it, right? We signed, although he's Ukrainian, we signed Andrei Shevchenko because Roman wanted somebody either from Russia or the Ukraine, right? Because remember, Roman's half Ukrainian anyway, right? And we signed him. We signed him. We signed him when he was on the way down. Okay, that's why we signed him. I mean, he wasn't a roaring success. He wasn't a failure, but he wasn't a roaring success either, right? And we signed Alexei Smirtin, who was Russian. It was, again, he did a job for us, and I didn't mind him. I quite liked him. But I don't want to start going down that road where we're going to start signing people from the owner's country just because of the sake of it. And that then says to me, does he actually know anything if he just wants to be bringing his own players in? Although I have read that Chelsea were interested in him a while back, Demirel, and I do have issues, but I'm not gonna repeat them here. Right, I'll tell you privately later on, right? And yeah, I've got an issue because someone's on about flying their country's flag over London, which makes me wonder about the motives.
I think if you ask me, Stav, I think you're overthinking that statement. That's probably he means like buying the club. No, I think you're overthinking it because why would he be flying over London? Does it really matter? It doesn't really matter. People do that. He can fly it in the stadium. He can be somewhere in the stadium. That doesn't mean that Stamford Bridge belongs to Turkey. It's just, to me, and again, before I continue, Lee, thank you very much for stopping by, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. And it's a pleasure having you here, and I hope to see you again to provide such great inputs like you've done. And thank you very much. See you later, or see you for the next Blue Morning show, which is tomorrow. Go ahead, Stav. Stav, you still there? Okay, okay. Coming back to you, Tyrone. What do you think? The statement that soon the Turkish flag will be flying in London. How do you see that statement?
I would assume that what's the example to use? Like, if, for example, you have somebody and they're representing their country. So let's say that they're bringing in the flag to say that we're going here. Let's see if we can get some Turkish fans to come into this fan base and to support this club with us. So flying the flag in means that they could be carrying a flag in, so that you can have it to present that Turkish representatives are now in this country, to say that let's have some fans come over. So let's carry a Turkish flag to say that Turkish people are now here. So let's get some more support. It's like, for example, if you want some Indians to come in, you have some Indian flag coming in, so you can have some Indian fans coming over to say India is now the owner of a club, not country. What am I talking about?
Yeah, or just an Indian man. Look how it's the thing. I see it as a moment. Is the word pride correct for it? As a moment of pride for the guy. Because the guy just seems happy that if he buys Chelsea Football Club, it's a moment of he'd be proud about it. And Turkish nationalities will be proud. And I'm sure there are British citizens who you'd call Turkish British citizens. They'll be proud that a Turkish guy is the new owner of Chelsea Football Club. That doesn't mean that Chelsea belongs to Turkey. That's why I'm telling Stav that he's overthinking it. You get my point right now. You can't.
Yeah, I always got
your point.
that doesn't mean.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it doesn't. It doesn't mean that Stamford Bridge belongs to Turkish. No, after all, he can uproot it. He can root it and move it if he decides to sell it. You get my point. That was why I was telling Stav he was overthinking it. No, it's nothing. It's just a moment. I think the guy is just, he feels he's enthusiastic. If you ask me, he wanted it to happen as soon as possible. He wants to represent Turkish nationals in England in that way, knowing that he as a Turkish citizen owns a Chelsea Football Club. So go ahead, Stav. You were saying something before you went off.
No, I wasn't saying anything. Carry on.
Okay. So the point is, I don't read too much into that statement. Flying Turkish flag in England. No, I don't think he won't go in. That doesn't mean because if he ends up buying Chelsea, he will go in front of the Parliament building and then hoist the Turkish flag there. No, he will not do that to me. But I understand where Stav is coming from, but I don't think I'm not going to think that deep about it. So if you're in the chat and you have any questions for us, please go ahead so that we can go through your questions and round off. I think it's been a great show so far, even though I sent Stav the link 5 years ago, but I understand I've stressed him enough this week, so he probably needed the rest. He was sleeping. Yes, I think it's metaphorical. Oh, she speaks English. Just Viola that speaks how many languages? I think 70 languages. But she cannot speak my language. I think that's the best way to put it. I think that statement is really metaphorical. He's just proud, and I think he's confident that he's going to buy it, given that statement, and I think it's going to happen. And I really do want the guy, given that he's friends with Roman Abramovic. I think, it is metaphorical. One, Turkish fans, they are fun. Yes, they are football-loving people. They follow football a lot. Stav, what you have to say about the Sribia comment that she wants Turkish fans that they are fun?
Sorry, what was that? She wants Turkish fans. She wants Turkish fans. They are fun.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about London-based Turkish fans. How can you judge if they're fun? Forget the ones in Turkey, right? They're not going to travel to watch Chelsea from Turkey. Right, you're talking about Turkish fans in London and in the UK, right? Mm-hmm. You may get a few Turkish fans going occasionally, but they're not going to be going all the time. But I told you I don't really want to discuss it.
Okay, I understand.
I don't want to discuss it on here.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think if anything, again, we expand Chelsea, the Chelsea fan base in Turkey will most definitely grow. Just like Roman buying Chelsea Football Club grew Chelsea's support base in Russia in a big way. I think that will happen also in Turkey.
Yeah, but people in Russia don't actually go to the games.
Yeah, but at least we have. Go ahead.
Only if we're playing in Russia, right? Don't overstate this fan base thing, right? Because in a lot of continents, right, people who buy a Chelsea shirt, yeah, there are loads who buy the genuine stuff, right? Okay, but as I discussed earlier on another stream, right, with the actual official Nike stuff, right? We've already been paid. We've already been paid. It's irrelevant who buys what around the world. You get £10, right, for each shirt, right, and you have to sell millions to make money out of it. So I don't read too much relevance in that. But I've seen lots of people on other streams, on TV, on things like that, who buy fakes. So the only people benefiting from that are people who create fakes, not necessarily the club. Don't overstate, right? The worldwide fan base. I'm not saying that they're not fans or they're not like into the club and things like that, but the actual fan base, right? Income it brings in is totally different. It's like me, right? I don't bring anything in anymore, apart from the fact that I subscribe to the weekly match program, right? But because Nike don't go up to my size, I don't buy the shirts anymore, right? Whereas Adidas used to, and Umbro used to go. Look, they don't bother for people who are big, and Nike, and it's don't overstress the income that a foreign fan base gets in, because if they watch the games on TV, yeah, they normally have to watch it on a local channel. So, like for example, me here in Cyprus, if I watch it on the Cypriot channel, right, the income's going to that channel, not the club. The league benefits because this country, Cyprus, will pay the EPL fees for the Premier League, right? But because it's a small country, the fee's not going to be that big, right? Yes, the league has benefited as a whole, right? And yes, Chelsea benefit because they're one of the biggest earners from the TV thing. But people forget that when they keep going on. Well, you know, they won't be the same because they won't have Roman to pump money in. He hasn't pumped money in on a big scale since FFP came in. People need to get that out of their heads, right? And the same thing's going to apply with the Turkish guy, right? Because the money, whoever it is, if it's the Americans, the Turks, their personal fortunes don't mean anything, right? Because there are set rules as to how much you can spend. So that's not going to change anything. And ultimately, if we're going to buy players, right, to comply with FFP, we still have to sell, right? So if I'd have seen this, if I hadn't been asleep, I would have said all this earlier on, and I would have explained why, right? The relevance is that we get an owner who's not going to be taking money out of the club, right? Which I think Americans would. That's the issue with them.
Yeah, just 1 second. I just want to say something about this comment on the screen. Is hilarious. From Tommy John Last, who says the spokesperson was just quite happy that he phrased that comment that way. Okay, probably the comment did not come directly from Muhsin. It came from his spokesperson. The flag comment. But this is so hilarious. I wish I could copy it and tweet it out. Doesn't mean Muhsin is going to turn Chelsea into a Turkish embassy. That's hilarious, and thank you for that input. Go ahead, Stav. Sorry.
Right. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter what the personal fortune is. right? That can only benefit for 1 or 2 seasons, and then if you keep spending over the salary cap and spending caps, then you get sanctioned, and you're paying a lot of money if you overspend to start with. And after 1 or 2 seasons, you get kicked out of Europe, which is going to cost you a fortune. So an owner's fortune isn't really that relevant, right? And people still keep believing the media thing that FFP been softened or whatever you want to call it when it hasn't.
Yeah, we've gone 20 minutes beyond the hour. Usually it's a 1-hour show and it's noon, and we have the pregame show coming up. So we will be rounding up soon. So if you have any question for us, quickly drop it in the chat so that we can address it and call it a day. Go ahead, Stav. Sorry.
No, that's it. Just don't get too carried away. The only relaxation of COVID FFP was for COVID, where the individual owner is allowed to put 10 million euros a year in to cover debts. That was relaxed so that you could put the 3-year period in 2020 to cover for COVID. Some of the debt's going to be covered, the 140 odd, 150 odd million that were in debt. Some of it will be written off as for COVID, right? But that's another issue we're now going to have because Rome's not going to be about. As for anybody's
I just saw something, breaking news. I think it probably fake news. I saw a tweet. Let me see if I can find it. That says that Chelsea has been sold to a mysterious Ukrainian businessman. Some name. I think it's fake news, possibly. Let me see if I'll find the tweet. Sorry.
Mysterious what?
Ukrainian businessman. Some name. Let me see if I can find the tweet here. Let me know if anybody in the chat sees that. Please let me know. I think it's fake news, possibly. Yeah, fake news. Yeah, I know. I thought this much, saying that Roman Abramovich has sold Chelsea to a mysterious Ukrainian businessman. Named some weird name I cannot even pronounce, and I'm not sure I can see that anywhere. Let me see. Is that it? Yeah. I think I can't find it, but before we let's round off by talking about this. I think it's fake, and everybody in the chat can agree that that's a fake news. Fake news. What? Yeah, it's a fake news. So calm down, Viola. Calm down. So the question is another question out. Something else I want us to talk. Yes. Well, yeah. Let me see. What does that tweet say? Yeah, Terry doesn't look face.
He was responding to somebody who said something about the MP. What's his name? I think, what was it? Chris Brandt, I think it is.
Yeah, I think.
You know what he was saying? So he was responding to somebody, and he said that he's a hypocrite. Because
Terry doesn't look faces.
He agreed that England was supposed to invade. What was it? I think it was I don't remember. Iraq. I think it was Iraq.
And that's why I love Terry for that. 100% made.
Exactly.
The same MP that claimed fortunes in expenses of the taxpayers' money, also the same MP who voted that we invade Iraq. That takes some gut. You understand? And in response, I think, he's just agreeing to what somebody says. But I love John Terry for that. He doesn't look faces in times of when he wants to speak his mind. And I think, we just do not want to talk politics, but I respect this coming from John Terry. Let's quickly touch this topic, then we can call it a day, because we have another show coming up, the pregame show, and it's not far away from now. The fact that Thomas Tuchel has stated that he's not looking to leave Chelsea, that Chelsea is perfect for him. And I've always argued that Thomas Tuchel likes Chelsea probably because of the structure, because he has always had issues being the one to take care of transfers and being the one to try get involved in negotiating player wages and all that. I don't remember what exactly, but he likes the structure where his job is just to coach. So Ty, starting with you, what do you think about Thomas Tuchel's comment that he wants to stay on at Chelsea even after the club is sold, that Chelsea is perfect for him?
I mean, he's always been that type of person who wants to stay at a club long term. Obviously, the reason why he doesn't stay long term is because he had disagreements with the board and everybody, and that what ends it. But every place he's been, he wants to stay there long term. Let's not forget PSG offered him a contract that was going to expire in 2022, but he obviously left before that, so they didn't extend. But I really, when managers say that, I don't really buy into it, because anything can change. We've seen a lot of managers say that they're happy here, they like where they are, they don't want any move, and then months later an opportunity pops up and then they leave. So I don't really buy it. It's something good. If he actually means what he's saying, that's fantastic, because I still believe that he can build a dynasty, he can build some structure for himself, to help Chelsea get to where they want to be and where they aspire to be, and to be as good as they want to. But I really don't want to buy into certain things that are said, because people do change their minds quickly, and we don't know, some opportunity may pop up and he changes his mind. But I would prefer if what he's saying is true, because I think he can build something, and I think he can actually be one of those managers who probably be like a Klopp or a Pep.
Here's my input on that. Even if things change in the future, I think saying it alone is reassuring. I don't know if you get my point, Ty. Saying that alone is very, very reassuring to me. At least he wants to stay. Then if the club on their path wants him to stay, then we have a marriage that will work. The issue is if he wants to stay and the club start doing things differently, because the truth is, if the structure of the club and the way the club operates, if both these two factors remain the same, then Thomas Tuchel will stay here for a long time. If he's doing well, it all comes down to if he's doing well. If he's doing well and nothing changes, the structure doesn't change, the way the club operates doesn't change, I think he will be here for the long term. But I get your point. Saying it is one thing, then for it to happen is another thing. And I want to say welcome to Mikhail, brother. Always good to see you. I know you're a very busy man, but you always find time to join us here. And this comment also is hilarious. I'm afraid Turkish guy comes, he buys Mesut Ozil. At least Ozil is a good number 10, and we don't have a good number 10. If he buys him for cheap, I'd take him, but I don't think he will buy Mesut Ozil. I think that is
why would he sign Mesut Ozil? That's stupid. That's stupid. Why would he?
I think he's just. I think Phantom is just trying to be funny. I don't think that happens. He respects Roman Enjoy. Yeah, that's good to know. And Iraq, Africa, Libya, God knows what, but don't fight Nazis. Yeah, I understand. I get your point, Serbia. Yeah, they are hypocrites. I feel sorry, boys, make me mad. I get your point. Boys make you mad. Tuchel loves Chelsea and we love him. The fans love him. Hopefully the new owners don't change anything. And I think Roman loves the guy too. You can see his face lit up whenever he's talking with him. He plays the brand of football that Roman loves. Is he perfect? No, Tuchel isn't perfect. Would I blame him for how the club has faltered of late? No, there are issues that contributed to that. Yes and no, exactly. To a certain point in terms of him being too stubborn. I know Stav can agree with me in terms of in that aspect. Him being too stubborn not to change the system, that's a huge issue. Big up to you, Steve Chelsea. And if you don't have anybody with any questions for us, we can talk about that. And Ty, do you have Stav, do you have any current news you want to talk about? Because we're about to round off. We've gone almost 30 minutes.
The only news I have is something that's not related to this topic, so I don't think
because the Blue Morning is a news live news session, interactive if you want to. But go ahead. Anything? Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
I'm gonna do it quickly. This thing about Tuchel leaving clubs quickly and stuff like that. That was thrown at Jose Mourinho as well. It just so happens that Jose Mourinho had no intention of leaving the first time round, and even the second time didn't last as long as he intended. You can't say that it's him wanting to leave when he left Man United and Tottenham or Real Madrid. right? He only left Inter Milan because the Real Madrid job came along. So that saying that a manager's got this thing about leaving after 3 years, right, or whatever, 2-3 years, is an absolute nonsense. Don't be going to sleep straight after this show. I want to talk to you quickly, right? Okay, but I'm not doing it on here. Right. I thought I saw a comment regarding, which I think is directed at me, regarding the Turkish flag. Okay, I'll explain that to you straight after this show. I'll only be with you for 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem. I appreciate that.
And I should point out that all these people who were saying the new owner should keep Marina on, the only way Marina's staying is if Roman asks her to. Right, she's already made an official announcement that she's leaving the club. So I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Right. Best thing to do, give the job to Petr Cech and get a negotiator next to him. Right, but I think a new owner might bring in somebody different. Right. So I also fear for Petr Cech whether he wants to go or stay.
100%.
That's just my personal feeling. Petr Cech should stay at the club. Like
because he's a footballing mind amongst all those other guys that don't know too much about football in terms of scouting and getting in the right players and all. I think Petr Cech to stay, and I hope he stays. And here's my argument, Stav. We've read the Roman's statement, and clearly he wants the club to succeed. I think he'd make effort to ensure that almost some of those guys stays. And rumors are that the new owners are looking to help to get those guys to stay.
Yeah, I just said that, but it doesn't matter, does it? She's already, in Marina's case, she's announced she's leaving. And I said the only way she's going to stay is if Roman asks her to, at least temporarily, right?
Yes, to ensure a smooth transition, because Chelsea is a big organization.
We need her to stay at least through the summer. Let her deal with the transfers, right? Get new players in, and we will get new players in. This thing that we're not going to sign anybody, but the relevance is that to buy we have to sell. Okay, and there's plenty of sellable assets there. We can sit here and say, "Oh, get rid of Barkley. I don't like him. He does this, he's that." But there are people who want to buy him. The selling prices are going to have to be relevant to the attraction of the player to a buyer now. So if someone comes in and says 20 million, right? Okay, try and get an extra 3, 4, 5 million out of them. And if you can't, just sell him. So I think Jorginho's going to go. There's no talks whatsoever about him staying, right? Unless the new owner wants to keep him. I think now he's reaching the age and he's reached the level where selling him's a better idea than keeping him and bringing other people back. And also, there's others, like I said. And there was a comment I heard, I think it was yesterday, regarding Bakayoko, all that lot, right? People have to remember that with Bakayoko and Batshuayi, each time we've sent them out on loan, we've got part of their transfer fees back. So this thing that we haven't, that we've just lost too much money, right? See, there's that comment. Was that Strip Bear?
Yeah, that says Barkley sucks. Does suck.
Doesn't matter if he sucks, does it? That's an opinion. That's a person's opinion, right?
Yeah.
He didn't suck when we bought him, right? We have to remember he's had injury issues as well when he was at Everton. He didn't suck when we bought him, and there'll be clubs that won't see him as sucking, right? Yeah. So let's not get into all this. This player, that player, right? It's not about our opinion.
Yeah, real quick, so we can round off, because I just find out it's just 83 minutes before the pre-game show, so I have to take a bit of a break, make food for my boys. They just are 5 and 2. They can make meals by themselves. Then I'll be ready for the pre-game show. Yeah, that's my boys, and
that's so lovely.
Yeah, Thank you. So go ahead. Go ahead. So what you want to say quickly so that we can get ready for the pregame show and then make me for my voice.
That the likes were not matching up with the views. So I'm going to say this. Winning games isn't easy, but you know what's easy? Smashing the like button. So just smash the like button, man. It's free. It's free. Yes. You don't have to pay for it.
Yes, and if you're in the chat, make sure to go check out Ty Talk CFC, a great channel. He's really doing quite well of late. He's found time to produce the content. He's young, he's a kid, but he knows the game very well. And if you try Ty Talks, believe me, you're never going back again. You always go check out his content whenever he releases a new content. And I'm glad he's part of this. And Ty, anytime you're part of the panel, if you check the description section and you didn't see your complete information, let me know because it's easy to forget. And usually I don't add it immediately because if you try to add it before the video is ready, usually it causes a problem for the processing of the video. That's why I don't add it immediately. Yeah, but with that, I think we've come to the end of the show. And I say thank you very much, Stav. I know you're very tired, but thank you very much for finding the time to join. And I want to thank the queen of all streams, Street Beer. I want to thank the other queen too, who's in the house, Just Viola. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Phantom of Many Topics, Steve, Chelsea, Lee, the new guys, everybody here. If I missed your name, my apologies. I'm only a human being. What time on the breakfast menu? What's on the breakfast menu? Scrambled egg and some stuff they love. I'm not what I don't want to say.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
That's a good question. Yeah, they love that. So guys, with that, we've come to the end of the show. And Tobago, yeah, you're late, but lateness is greatness. See you in the pregame show. I think the pregame show within 30 minutes of 30 minutes into the pregame show, it will be an open panel. And with that, I must remind you guys how much I love you guys. You've been great to this channel, to the growth of this channel, and hopefully we'll hit 1,000 subscribers soon. See you guys in the pregame show. God bless you all, and bye.